No, I'm going to tell you about everything is out of order today. And welcome to my podcast. I'm Naomi and this is NJ Knits, where I talk about my knitting. So, time for the winner of the giveaway. So, here is the giveaway. Lovely little hedgehog bag, handmade in Prague, and 2 skeins of yarn, these 2 here, plus I have to admit, if you are binging this right now and it's well after the giveaway, that's why I'm rushing through this, because I always get really bored if I'm binging something and it's like, okay, this giveaway's already happened, I don't care. And this lovely little sheepy notebook and some pilfered Petite knit stitch holders, which I can't seem to find. Here they are. Okay, here we go. I'm so excited. I've never done this before, but I have it on my phone. Get the comments. There's 41 comments. You've got a 1 in 41 chance of winning, folks. Exciting stuff. Start raffle and pick random winner. Oh, it's so exciting. It's Judy S. She says, "Hi Naomi, great to see you back. I'd love to win the Yarn Queen mohair. Would be so great to play with using different colours. I'd also be very interested to try the nylon socks and would make the grow socks with their beautiful little botanical detail. Those are cute socks. I looked them up after I saw that comment from Judy. So that's very exciting. I used this thing. It was so quick and easy. How exciting. And Judy, you've won the prize. So you can email me, or probably email's the easiest, I would imagine. Or if you want to find me on Instagram and DM me, give me your details and I will post it out to you on Monday, because I leave on Wednesday. So please do. I better get this video out soon so you can see this. And Judy, you better watch the video right away. I didn't fully think this entirely through, but never mind. We'll hope for the best and deal with the worst, right? That feels like it's something someone said before. We'll hope for the best and deal with the worst. Okay, so Judy, congratulations. Very exciting stuff over here. So, I have one finished object for you. I've got some WIPs and I've got some, just general exciting stuff happening. I'm at home, which is exciting. Look at all this crap. There is so much stuff in my house, I can't deal with it. But this is because there's some problems downstairs, so we had to move all the stuff that was being stored in this area up here, which is under the bed. And also I have all my bags here now, which I've been living out of for essentially almost the whole year. So it's really nice to be home. It's really nice to see my partner. We're going to the Natural History Museum later, so if you're on Instagram, expect rock pictures. So let me jump right in and show you my finished object. I'm also going to have to get a sock blocker away from my giant cactus. Let me just show you what the situation with the sock blockers is here. Can you see that? Can I see it? Cactus! Sock blockers. Sorry if that was slightly dizzy making. My partner quite often is like, can you stop moving the camera when we're on FaceTime? She's like, I'm getting dizzy. Don't mind me, I'm just getting a sock blocker out. Try not to poke myself with a cactus. So, here they are. They have been washed now. And they've been blocked, I guess. I didn't really block them, actually. I just washed them. And then I laid them flat to dry. So I didn't, for me, when I say blocking, I mean like stretching the fabric out to even out the stitches and then laying it flat on a towel and squeezing it out. I didn't do any of that. I just washed them and then laid them flat to dry. They are a bit loose, but they are very warm. I've worn them once and since washed them, and they are incredibly warm. So, success there. I used Daughter of a Shepherd yarn, and here is the other one. I bought two 50-gram bottles, 2 50-gram in the Liberty sale, darling. I don't know why I'm embarrassed about that. It's fine. I went to Liberty and they had a sale on yarn and I bought some yarn in Liberty. It's fine. It's completely okay. There's no problem there. Anyway, so they're finished. I'll show you the leftovers that I have. And apparently this has been a really enjoyed feature on my programs before. The feature where Naomi weighs things with her hands. And everyone's always like, I'm so impressed. And I'm like, well, we don't actually know if I'm even remotely accurate. So I don't know why you're impressed. I could be just really wrong. So I have different amounts left, obviously, because I've used more of the grey than I have of the darker colour. I would say it's hard. This is less dense, so it's hard. The weighing is slightly more difficult. But I'm gonna say that I've got about 25 grams left in total, I think. Because if this is 50 grams and 50 grams, together that's 100. Yeah, I would say this is about 25 grams together. So maybe this is 15 and this is 10. I do actually have a scale in my home, so I could check this and get back to you on it. I may or may not. We'll see. Well, that is my hand weighing. 15 grams and 10 grams. But it's a fair amount left over. So we'll have to see what I do with that, because my guess is I'm going to combine it with whatever leftover I have from my Beaches and Bouches when I finally make the wool and honey, because it's a very similar quality and type of yarn. And I'll make something with that combined. So that is that. I'll put it back in this bag. This is, again, a Lucy and Yak bag. It's got all my leftovers from when I was in Prague that I'll then put away. I have actually made almost no progress on the Welcome to the Jungle. You'll be excited to know. I did work on it on the plane home, but because we're at such a ridiculous amount, I worked on it the whole way home on the flight from Prague to London, so it's not that long of a flight, it's a couple hours, and I had already done one section of one round, 1/4, and I didn't even make it round the whole way. So the last time you saw this, I think I had done one section of the blue and of the new colours, and now I've done another 2 sections. I still haven't completed the first round of the new thing. Yeah, I think also that I may have done it entirely wrong on the front side. or I may not have. Either I've done the front wrong, or I was wrong in thinking I'd done the front wrong. Something happened that was incorrect. Either it was my assessment that I'd done it wrong, or it was the actual doing. So that's the Welcome to the Jungle. It's coming to Morocco. It will get lots of love in Morocco. I don't think I'm going to bring any more than... This section is meant to have 3 balls of each. I currently have got... These are my spares. And then there's the 2 that I'm using. I don't think I'll bring more than that because... I mean, it's only 6 weeks. There's no way I'm getting that far on that. So, and plus I'll have lots of other projects, so that's fine. Just gonna bring 2, and it'll be fine. I think if I wanted to try and finish that whole section of the body in Morocco, that would be quite an ambitious thing. However, I'm then gonna go spend a month in Canada and another month in Oregon, so maybe I should bring the last 2 balls and hope to finish that. Maybe I will. It's never bad to be hopeful, right? So that's the progress on that. Minimal at best. And I am so excited because we're going out of order again, but this is a WIP and I have to show it to you in the bag. Look at this project bag! It is amazing! So, Lisa Petite, who I have mentioned before on this podcast because she won one of my giveaways. So I've mentioned her, and I told her to stop watching, and then I've mentioned her because she loves to see the Chaos Cam, which you're not going to be disappointed, Lisa, in the Chaos Cam today. She was so sweet. So when I sent her the giveaway, she said, I've got something to send you as well. And so she sent it to me. It came I'd say a week or maybe a bit more before I left Prague, which was really lucky. And I was so pleased because she sent me this gorgeous, gorgeous handmade project bag that she made. And just look at it. I mean, look at how cool the fabric is. That is an amazingly cool ostrich. Look at that guy. Kangaroo. I mean, everything about this. And the bottom, look at that. It's like a nice square bottom. I mean, all these sunglasses, the colours, flamingo, and then on the inside is this gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. I'm very tempted. It's very reversible. Very tempted to use it the other way around as well. I think you could. Actually, let me look. I bet you could. That would be so cool. 2 project bags in one. Look, you can have the project bag this way around, and it's just as cool. So it's got shoelaces to close it, which I'm obsessed with. And it's not closing super well at the moment because I haven't moved the stitch markers from where she placed them. She also gave me and made some stitch markers. So look at these stitch markers. They are the absolute cutest stitch markers. I don't actually have any stitch markers like this that are like decorative. That's a lie. I got a free one in Beautiful Knitters one when I went with Lucy, the lovely Lucy from This Nanny Knits. We went to Beautiful Knitters. We wanted to go to Tribe Yarns, but it ended up being surprise closed, which we were very upset about. And then instead we went to Beautiful Knitters, which was lovely. And I got a free stitch marker, and it was a little what's the word for a thing in the water that swims? Fish. It was a little fish. So look at these absolutely adorable stitch markers. There's this one with basically one of these. This one is my favourite one. It says yarn. Look at that hank of yarn. I mean, cute as. I love that they're all making themed. I really love that. A pair of beautiful scissors and some buttons. I am absolutely obsessed with these stitch markers. I cannot tell you how happy they make me. And I'm gonna use one on my next cast on, which is imminent. So anyways, that's why it wasn't like closing well, because I had the stitch markers in the little thing, you know, what's the word for this thing? Like a I'm thinking truncheon. That's not even remotely the right word. But I was just thinking of that word, so I'm going to use it instead. Truncheon. I believe that's a thing, like, that medieval people would, like, put their stew in and make it out of bread. The truncheon. Is that even right? We're moving on. We're moving swiftly on. So this is my beautiful bag from Lisa, and she wrote a little card that said, now you can't say that you don't have a project bag, because it's true. I didn't have any, like, specific knitting project bags. I just used, like, basically, you know, random bags that I got from Lucy and Yak or those kinds of things. So the sweetest and most thoughtful gift. Thank you, Lisa. And it is holding my Honey Clutch by Petite Knit. I was going to call it that tiresome pouch, but I didn't. I called it the Honey Clutch. It's not tiresome. I still haven't quite memorized the brioche stitch because I don't think I've had like bouts of doing it. It doesn't probably look that much more progress than there was last time, but I really haven't spent much like consistent time on it. Like, I haven't done it and then done it again the next day and then done it again the next day. I'm so close to memorizing this, but it's just not quite happening. So I'm still using this method. It's great for when you're like taking a pause. So yeah, I think I've just really been concentrating on my next WIP, which I will show you. I would be doing this more if I had... It's just, whenever I have test knits, I always tell myself, and this test knit specifically had such a long time to make it, and I'm always like, okay, you're gonna just do it like any other project, and then it always just like, I get like, I have to do it right now and finish it all. So everything else kind of took a back seat because I've been test knitting. I'm so excited about it. I've shown it to you already, but I've been test knitting the amazing, that's the back, Love Number sweater by Lily Kate Makes, and it takes up the whole frame because it's ginormous and amazing. I've finished one sleeve and I could not be happier with it if I tried. It's just, I've been a fan of Lily Kate Makes designs for ages. I forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. This is my Sky Beanie #1 by Jose.lotta, which I test knit, and I made it in Knitting for Olive compatible cashmere, held double, 2 different colours. And it's very soft and light, and if you're a kind of person that doesn't like constriction on your head, that it like sort of irritates you, which it can do for me, even though I wear beanies all the time, I kind of recommend making something with like a beanie with like lace weight, like cashmere or mohair, something that's really warm but lace weight in like a slightly loose gauge. Like, this is a pretty loose gauge, I would say. I think I knit it on like 2.5 mil maybe, or 3 mil needles, but it's so soft and it's warm, but it has almost no level of constriction on my head. It's just like sat there, and it's not like that. Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful. It's got really nice decreases. I clearly have a huge head, so that's another thing. Anyway, sorry. So this is my Love Number. This is the back. I have so many things to say about this. So I have used for the yoke, for the yoke and the whole body of the jumper, I used 3 skeins of the worsted weight Briggs & Little that was hand dyed by Georgiana Fibers. She's not dyeing anymore, so you're not missing out by not knowing the name. So I used 3 hanks of it, and I have this much left over. I did have, all the hanks were slightly different in like the general tone levels. Like if you can see here, this one looks pinker than this one. And I believe I had 3 that, was it 3 or 2? It was 2. I had 2 that were like whiter. I had 2 that were more pink, and I had 1 that was darker. So here is the other 2. So that's like the whiter one, and that's like the pinker one. So what I did was, I did the dark is inside of this, is the stitch on this, on the yoke. And I used the whole of the dark one to do the stitches on the yoke here. And I think the last one of these rounds with the twisted stitches here is like dark going into one of the just pink variations. So I used 3 skeins with this much left over, which I'd say again is about 20. This might even be 30 grams. I'm just laughing at myself because it's such a silly thing to pretend like I can weigh things with my hands. So the top bit, I did every row, I alternated between the darker pink and the whiter colour. Not the dark, but just the pink and the white. And I kind of found it to be a little bit almost spotty, kind of. What I love about this yarn is that it looks like granite, or it looks like rock, and this just almost like takes away from that. It's partially because it's ribbing, but I thought actually maybe what I'll do is do 2 rows of one colour and 2 of the other, because maybe it's the breaking it up too much that's making it look almost like spotty. So this was 1 and 1, which I didn't love, but I didn't have a problem with. And then I did down here, obviously all of this bit in the middle is the whiter colour, and all of this here is the darker colour. And when you look at it, the only reason I know that there is a difference is because I've looked at my swatch, because it just kind of looks like all the same thing, but it really makes this piece pop more. Now on like a plain jumper, which most of the people making this are making a plain version, this pops because it's stitch definition and you have got like a plain colour. And because mine is slightly more variegated, the yarn, actually using the dark one as the stitch really makes it pop for some reason. I swatched it in different ways and found that was the case, and so I think this is beautiful, and it doesn't really look like I'm striping the yarn here, but I am. You can really tell the difference once we've gone away from the dark colour, and here you can see the difference between the dark colour and the lighter colours, because when I got to the body on here, this was maybe not fully well thought through. I'd finished the dark, and then I just had the dark pink and the light pink? Yeah, I think. Because that's what's left, is the dark pink and the light pink. And so I then striped this I think it's every 3 or every 2. No, it's every 3. You can see in here, this is where I've moved the yarn. So I've done 3 rows of one colour and 3 rows of another colour, and that's kept it from pooling really well, but it's kept the sort of like rock effect that I love about the yarn. And I carry that on through the ribbing all the way down. And then, I don't know if you do this, but, oh, I've just dropped some stitches. This yarn is really toothy, so it's never a problem when you drop stitches. When I finish the body of a jumper and I have leftovers, I generally start a new ball for the sleeve because I don't want to have to, like, unless there's something I really want to make with the leftovers and I want to have a full ball, I generally don't want to like have to like join the yarn, so I just use a new ball. So that's why I have leftovers from the body, and then I've got 2 balls that I'm using for the sleeve, which I finished, and now I'm using them to make the other sleeve. And it's, again, the lighter, more white colour and the more pink colour are alternating. I suppose I could have done like white just on the sleeves and the pinky just on the body, but I wanted it to look more like the similar, and it sort of does look similar, but you know, it's variegated. It's all going to look slightly different. But I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I think it's really beautiful, and I don't think it's pooling that much. Now that I'm looking at it in a camera, you can kind of see the like 3 rows at a time. It's like bit there, bit there, bit there, bit there, you know? But I love it. I love the way it looks. It looks exactly like granite, and it makes me so happy. What else? The method for doing the sleeves is great. You can see I don't have any holes here. And the sleeve is massive, but it's so good. It looks perfect. I basically just was like, take me in your hands and lead me, Lily. And she did, and I'm not regretful, because every little detail is just so well thought out and so perfect, and it just looks so good, and I'm just really pleased with all of it. I love this sleeve so much, and I can't wait to finish it. Really wanted to have it finished for this weekend, but obviously since it's Friday and I need to now edit this, it's not happening. But it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to knit on. It's a pleasure to make. I have to finish it before I leave, which is Wednesday, because the test knit is due on the 11th. But I'm not going to take this to Morocco because A, it's big, B, I'll not wear it in the heat. So sadly, I'm going to have to make this and leave it, which is like, because it's the perfect little spring jumper. You could wear it, it's thick enough that you could just wear it and not have a jacket or anything on. And it's just going to be sitting on its own, sadly, pining for a wearer. So, yes, I am cheekily knitting right now. So anyway, it's a little bit of a sad situation, but I'm really excited to finish it and do a little video. I can't say enough good things about Lily Kate Makes designs. They are so well thought out, and all the details are so perfect. As you're knitting, you'll just go, that was genius. That's a really good idea. And every time as you go through the patterns, whatever it is. So anyway, this is the second sleeve, which I'm working on now. I'm knitting these on my ChowGoos. I went down a needle size. Just 1 needle size. I probably should have gone down 2 needle sizes, but I was worried about yarn. And I loved the fabric I was making with this. So I also am in between sizes. So Lily recommended that I go down a size. So that's generally what I always do now, is I go down 1 needle size. I'm such a loose knitter that probably most of the time I should go down 2 needle sizes, but I go down 1 needle size, and I'm always in between sizes because I've got a 35-inch bust, and usually it's 34 inches for the one size and 36 for the other size. So I'm always in between sizes. So I go down 1 needle size and then go down to the smaller end of the pattern size. So my gauge is still usually a little bit looser, but because I'm done a pattern that's meant to be slightly too small for me, it ends up perfect. And this has ended up just perfect. So I will show you now, as one of the features of this show is me always trying stuff on in the moment, which will be even harder Why am I calling this a show? It'll be even harder with all of the crap that's around me. I really need to work out a way to rethink how I think about stuff. Because all I do is whinge about how much stuff I have and do nothing about it. So there's something wrong in the way I'm thinking about it that's like paralyzing me from actually solving my problems and helping myself. This is really fun. Okay. Here it is. Here it is. I love it so much. Look at this jumper. Look at it. Look at it. It fits just gorgeously. It's gonna apparently block out so that it's like lower. So this is like a perfect length already, but I would love it to be a little bit longer. So apparently the yoke grows pretty substantially in the blocking. So I did knit the sleeve about 1 inch shorter than it was in the pattern. I quite like a shorter sleeve, and I think I have shorter arms than most people do anyway. So it's perfect. I love this around here. I love it so, so much. It's like, boom, look at my sleeve. It's amazing. So yeah, when I like reach out, it's a little bit more bracelet length, but it's apparently going to grow. And just look at the way that detail on the way that it's finished. I mean, it's really, really, really good, isn't it? One thing I will say, I was saying that I had trouble with the using 2 yarns and like going from one yarn to the other in like having holes. I don't know what I was thinking. What I was doing was I was like knitting 1 stitch. So I'm using yarn A. I use it for 3 rounds. Then I'm going to switch to yarn B. And I use yarn B for 1 round. And then I pick up yarn A and knit the first stitch of the second row of yarn B with yarn A, as a way to like close that hole. All of that created a okay result, but you could clearly see a line down the back, and I'll show you in a second. But then when I was doing the sleeves, I was like, oh, why don't I just need a running thread between the two, so why don't I just make sure there's a running thread? So I just lifted the running thread of the old yarn above the new thread that I was using, almost like as if you were weaving in your ends as you go, or almost like you're catching a float, basically. So I was catching a float of the yarn that I dropped to close up that gap, and it's seamless, like it's perfect. You can see that's the line where I changed rounds, and you can kind of see it because I'm, obviously changing yarns, but there's no holes. It's like perfectly seamless, and there's nothing wrong with the stitches. They're not like warped in one direction or the other. So I'll show you what the bag looks like. It's very different to that. Cool. I love the way this yarn feels. It's thick and toothy, but I can tell it's going to soften up when I wash it. And I just love, it's chunky, but it's not horrendously heavy. It's just like bulky. I really love it. If I lived in Canada, I'd be going for the Briggs and Little all the way. So here is the yarn management on the body. Leaves a little bit to be desired. So it got better as I went along, but basically all these like leaning stitches is when I'm like knitting one from a different yarn that's below, and it's kind of pulling the stitches this way and that. Look, it's not that bad, it's fine. It does make it easy to tell which one's the back and which is the front. I'd say you can kind of tell as well, just because, you know, the stitch pattern and it's in the round, so you see the little chink as you go, once you go round. So you can tell that anyway. And then there's my little added addition for the on the body, just to make it that much easier to tell where the back is. And there's short row shaping, which is lovely and works great and looks amazing, and I just love everything about this jumper. So yeah. Also, look at this sleeve. It's essentially almost half the width of the body. Look at how wide that sleeve is. That's gonna be fun to fold up. No, it's not. It's more like a third of the width of the body. I'm obsessed with this jumper. I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with the colour and the rocky yarn. And Holly calls this stitch pattern the little rocks. And I'm like, yeah, it's rocks. Everything is rocks. Rocks are amazing. Rocks are life. I'm going to stop talking now because I'm just rambling and knitting. Okay, so that's my last WIP. It is almost finished and I'm so excited about that. I have some acquisitions to show you. I'm hoping eventually, in my year of no buying yarn, I'm hoping one time I'll have a podcast where I don't have any acquisitions. So far in this year of buying no yarn, it hasn't happened. But, you know, hey ho, we can only hope for the best. So my partner got me some socks. Yeah, wow, this is amazing. Loving all of this that's happening right now. She got me some socks. Yeah, it was fairly cheap in Prague, and my 52 weeks of sock book, which she got me for Christmas, for an early Christmas present. There was a lot of patterns we were looking at in it that all used socks, yeah, and I was like, something about it just tickled her, because it's like, socks, yeah, and it has an exclamation point. So now it's just like, every time we're talking about yarn, or I'm talking about yarn, or we look at like socks, she's like, socks, yeah, and then now even sometimes if she replies with like, yeah, exclamation point, I'll be like, socks, yeah. So anyways, she got me some socks, yeah. I couldn't decide, there was so many colours, so I couldn't decide, and she picked some. So she got 2 of this green colour, which is it's called Labradorite. I've never tried to say that aloud, but that is a type of rock. I know that, but I've never tried to speak the word because I don't know why, but I never have, and I didn't realise that it almost sounds like Labrador. Well, it does. It's Labrador and then ite at the end. Labradorite. It's a really lovely colour. You can see there's like some almost like heathering in it. There's almost tones of... It's hard, it's not picking it up. There's tones of like almost brown in it. It really picks up and like marries well with this colour. This colour is Obsidian. Oh my goodness, they're all named after rocks. That's so good. So this colour is Obsidian, which is funny because Obsidian is a black rock, and this is very much not black. I don't know what colour Labradorite is. I always thought Labradorite was like blue, but I don't actually know, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. And then this colour, which goes really well with all of these colours and goes really well with this. I think the concept was socks and socks, but they kind of all go really well together. Socks, yeah! This colour is Sugilite. I've never heard of that, but it's ite, so really want it to be a rock too. I'm gonna check, but I really want it to be a rock. It's a 75% fine superwash merino wool and 25% nylon. 212 meters per 50 grams, which makes it, 424 per 100 grams. Just in case you wanted to know what double that number was, just giving it to you. So yeah, the brand is called Coop Knits. Socks, yeah! Socks, yeah! So yeah. I'm also not sure if I've shown you this. This was a Christmas present, and I don't know if I podcasted after Christmas. I don't think I did. So I haven't shown this to you. This I got for Christmas from my aunt. It is a kit. I've never had a kit before. This is a Jamieson & Smith kit, and it is for making socks. I know it's a lot of yarn just for a pair of socks, but it's Shetland Supreme jumper weight. 100% Shetland wool, dye free, 50 grams, 172 meters. So this is a 4-ply, maybe like a sport weight. So this could go with some, if there's leftovers, could go with my leftover daughter of a shepherd actually. So I've got 100 grams of that. That's a lovely, lovely colour. It's just undyed natural wool. And then I've got 25 grams of each of these colours. This is it doesn't say, but there's this colour, and then there is this colour. They're all lovely sort of heathered purples, and then this colour. Oh, it's showing up more pink and less purple. It's more purple. That's better, yeah. And then this colour. So these are all 25 gram hanks, and they have 115 meters in them each. So I'm sure I'm going to have loads left after I make this pair of socks, which I will show you. It comes with the pattern. Where is the pattern? Ah, here it is. Here's the pattern. Very lovely, like, fancy pattern. Actually, maybe I won't have that much left over of the colours. These are the socks. I mean, look at them. How cool. Yeah, so it's like, this is the pattern, and then, well, shouldn't show you that. But yeah, that's what they look like. How gorgeous are they? I'm really, 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 really excited to use this wool, because I've not, to my knowledge, I may have done, but to my memory and knowledge, I haven't used any of this, Jamieson & Smith's, and I'm just really excited for these socks. I'm excited because my first ever pair of all over colourwork socks I did on, I think, too small of a needle with too few stitches, and they're very tight and thick and not great. I don't love them. It's sad because they're all over colourwork socks in yarn that I dyed myself. I don't love the colour combination, and I don't love the fit, and also there's huge holes in the heels which I can fix. But yeah, there's a lot I don't love about my first pair of colourwork socks. I'm excited for another pair that I'm going to absolutely love. And I'm excited that they're just no nylon socks. They're just like, yeah, just use some rustic wool, it's fine. Which is how I feel about it too. My finished object is entirely what probably people would not deem as sock yarn, because it's sport weight, woolen spun, which is less hard wearing than worsted spun, and it's just plain wool, no treatment and no nylon. So but I think it's fine. I think all the nylon hype is just To be fair, I've seen a pair of the Crea Bears socks that her partner wore like every day for a year, and you can tell that the nylon is all that's left to keep it from being a hole. And I've got many socks that I've darned that all that's left is like the elastic or the nylon, and all the wool is worn off. So I think it's fair. However, I also think that if all that's left is the nylon, you still need to darn them. So what's the difference? But fine. It doesn't matter anyways. It's all fine. Now, this is the big question of the day. I'm going to Morocco and I don't know what I'm going to bring with me. I will show you my immediate cast-on plan, however. I've got lots of other stuff that I cannot decide what I'm going to do. I've got 2 immediate cast-on plans. These, which I got in Canada last summer, $2 each, which was an absolute steal, because it is Louisa Harding Jasmine, which is 48% cotton, 39% bamboo, 10% silk, and then 3%, you know, the sparkly stuff. I love the sparkle, and they had to be socks because they're sparkly. I don't know what else you would want to be sparkly. I don't think I personally would want anything else to be sparkly, but my feet, absolutely, give me all the sparkle. This would probably also make a really cute bralette, because it's really soft. Anything with bamboo is always going to be really soft, but I really want to make a pair of socks. It's essentially DK weight. It's 50 grams is 98 meters, so that's like basically 200 meters for 100 grams, which is DK, I would say. So I've made Aran weight cotton socks before, twice, and now I want to try and make DK weight cotton socks, and I want these to be toe up because I want to do a picot top, hem edge, and I want to I want to do it as the, I just feel like it's less faff to do the 3 needle bind off than it is to do a provisional cast on. Something about a provisional cast on I find incredibly faffy and I don't like. I think it's the fact that I'm using extra yarn and then I'm having to take that yarn out again. I just find it really faffy. I'm happy to do it if I need to, but I'd much rather not. So that's why I want to do toe up instead of doing a provisional cast on, because I don't want it to be a cast on edge. I suppose I could just cast on and then sew it down, but I feel like that makes it less stretchy. I think the stretchiest way to do it would be to do 3 needle bind off. If you disagree, please let me know, because the whole point is I want, you know, the cuff to be really stretchy, but I want to do picot, which means you have to fold it over, and that'll be like a folded edge, and then folded edge, and yeah, because when it's folded over I can now then in that folded over bit add some elastic, because this is cotton and it won't come back into shape once you've put it over your foot. Also, if I'm making these as I go and improvising them, toe up will be helpful, because it will be like, okay, how much more stitches do I need as I'm increasing? Once I've done, you know, increasing from the toe, you know, I can try on and be like, oh, that's enough stitches, and then once I'm getting towards the heel, like, okay, how many stitches do I think I'm gonna want extra? Do I want to gusset? That kind of thing. So that's why I'm thinking of doing toe up. I don't have anything against toe up, it's perfectly fine. So yeah, I think I'll probably be using, what needles do they recommend? 4mm, so I'll probably use 3.25 is my guess. 3.5 would probably be the right needles, but I think that might be a little bit loose. I might start with 3.25, and then as I knit the toe, if that's at a tighter gauge, then the rest of the sock if I decide it's too tight. I think it's fine to have the toe be a tighter gauge than the rest of the sock, so I might do that actually. Anyway, that's my plan. And then my other plan is I've got some leftover Viking yarn that I got in a charity shop in Norway for like 15 crown. I don't think it's the full amount, because these are supposed to be 50 gram hanks. Well, maybe it is the full amount. Seems very flat and empty, but maybe it's the full amount. I don't know. I have these two, and I want to make myself a little bandana for Morocco, because I have a lot of hair now, but also just maybe like around my neck, because this is Viking yarn Bjork, which is everything is in Norwegian, but we can work out that bambus probably means bamboo and bomull means cotton. So this is a 50% cotton, 50% bamboo mix, and I want to make potentially the scarf number 1 by My Favourite Things Knitwear as just like a little bandana-y thing. Either that, or I might just freestyle a tiny shawl, basically, to wear around my head. But I think, what direction is best if you want it like to be able to tie it around your head? I don't know. I'm gonna stop thinking. Anyway, these are two like definitive plans. The other plan I'm gonna take is some cotton and linen that I'm gonna make the Egwene cardigan with, I think, and then beyond that, I'm not sure. I've got 2 balls of this that I got in Canada, which is, it's bamboo and cotton, but it has elastic through it, so it's actually stretchy. So I'm going to make some socks with these, probably just plain vanilla socks because it's self-striping, and I might even do another foray into knitted pants. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll make a bikini. So yes, that's plans. And I'm surrounded by stuff. Here's the chaos cam. It's already chaotic before I podcasted, but here it is in all its glory. This is mainly where the chaos resides. Loads of it. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have I'll stop jiggling this about. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day / evening / night / morning, and that's my partner telling me, and all of you kind folks, that she's just eaten a twirl. Fantastic news. This just in. My partner has just eaten a twirl. Oh, that tickles me. And, I hope that you find something like that to give you a little tickle your pickle, as the Penrose Knit says, of the beautiful Penrose Knits podcast. Also, I have to do a really nice shout out to Night Sky Knitting. If you haven't watched Night Sky Knitting, give it a watch. See what she's up to. She has got a lovely energy. I love her energy. She is also quite whimsical and very this perfect combination of self-deprecating and self-accepting at the same time, in a way that sort of supports one another as opposed to fights against one another. It's I'm gonna self-deprecate and completely accept myself, and that's a beautiful way of being, and I love watching it, and it makes me happy. It's a sort of it's whimsy, isn't it? It's just sort of being laughing at yourself whilst being perfectly fine with yourself, and I love it so much. Also, she does really lovely projects, and And there's like lots of inspiration to be had from her, and she's doing a fantastic job of knitting from stash and not actually buying yarn, whereas I have a lot of chat about it and am failing miserably, but never mind. So hello over at Night Sky Knitting, and if you haven't checked her out, go and check her out for sure. Who else can I recommend? I feel like I was watching someone recently that I was really enjoying. I can't remember. I might put it up if there was someone I was watching. But yeah, lovely to see everyone, and continue to knit fearlessly on. Don't be obstructed by perfection, and I will see you next time. See you later.